Hello students, I am Sachitrakar. Welcome to Cars Physics. We are continuing current electricity. Chapter number 3, 12th Physics. In just previous lecture, in just previous lecture, we have discussed on Wheatstone Bridge. Okay, we have found balance condition of Wheatstone Bridge and we have approached some numericals applicable for both board level and competitive level numericals like for NEET and JEE, etc. Okay, so we have found balance condition in Wheatstone Bridge by applying Kirchhoff's laws. Kirchhoff's first law or Kirchhoff's current law, KCL, and Kirchhoff's second law or Kirchhoff's voltage law, KVL. Okay. So in this lecture, we'll discuss on unbalanced Wheatstone Bridge. We'll direct approach the numerical. How to find equivalent resistance in unbalanced Wheatstone Bridge. Okay. So if EMF of the cell is given, then we may find current through the resistances. Okay. And how to divide the current and how to get current in different branches, means through different resistors. We have already discussed in previous lectures. Okay. Just recall about balanced Wheatstone Bridge. Then we will apply the similar numerical values to unbalanced Wheatstone Bridge and we'll see how to find equivalent resistance in unbalanced Wheatstone Bridge. Okay. Balanced Wheatstone Bridge. Wheatstone Bridge consists of 4 resistors. Okay. In the form of bridge. Okay. 1, 2, this is third, and this is fourth. 4 resistors in the form of bridge, and we may take this is another resistance or this is another resistance or we may use a galvanometer in this branch. Then we will take resistance of galvanometer. We may take resistance of galvanometer or we may take a resistance connected between these 2 points. Okay. Then it is connected to terminals of a cell A, B, C, D. Let this resistance is R1, this is R2, this is R3, this is R4, and this is R5. Okay. Then what is the balance condition? Okay. And if balance condition is satisfied, then what is observed? Okay. So under balance condition, just divide the current. Let total current is I, conventional current, reaches at A, and A is a junction or load. Then this current is divided into 2 branches. This is I1, this is I1, and this is I2. Current through R1 is I1, current through R2 is I2. Then I1 reaches at junction B. Then I1 may be divided into 2 branches or along this branch, current is I2. I2 reaches at D. Then I2 may be divided into 2 branches. Okay. Either I1 may get divided at junction B into 2 branches or I2 at junction D may be divided into these 2 branches. Okay. Means which current will get divided, means I1 will be divided at B or I2 will be divided at D. That depends upon potential of B and D. That depends upon potential of B and D. If potential at B is greater than potential at D, If potential at B is greater than potential at D, then this I1 reaches at B. So this is incoming current to B, then outgoing current may be taken as along this branch I5 and along this branch I3. Okay. If D is potential at D is greater than B, then I2 will be get divided along this branch, means from B to B I5 and from D to C I4. Okay. Either one. Let's consider potential at B is equal to, greater than potential at B. Then this will be flow of current, this will be flow of current. I2 and I5 get combined and become I4. I4 and I3 get combined here, and again total current is I. Total current is I. Okay. So this is the actual scenario. So what is balance condition? Balance condition is R1 divided by R2 is equal to R3 divided by R4. If ratio of R1 to R2 is equals to ratio of R3 by R4, then this satisfies balance condition. Under balance condition, current flowing through resistance R5 means current through this branch means I5 will become 0. Means if this condition is satisfied, R1 divided by R2 is equal to R3 divided by R4. If this condition is satisfied, then no current will flow through resistance R5, or if we use a galvanometer in this branch, then galvanometer will show no deflection. Okay, this is balance condition. So if balance condition is satisfied, this means potential at B is equal to potential at D. If 2 points are at same potential, then there will be no flow of charge or no flow of current between those 2 points if connected by a conducting path. Okay, so we do observe that there is no current is flowing through this branch. If this condition is satisfied, so this implies potential at B is equal to potential at D. Okay, suppose we do take a balanced Wheatstone bridge. Okay, let R1 is equal to 5 ohm, R2 is equal to 10 ohm, R3 is equal to 5 ohm. Okay, take this 10. Okay, any value we may interchange. This is 10 ohm, this is 5 ohm, this is 5 ohm, this is 10. Okay, or you may take here 5, 10, here 10, 5. Like this resistance is 10. This is unbalanced. Okay, if you take this is 5, this is 10, and this is 5, this is 10. Okay, let's discuss about balanced Wheatstone bridge. Okay, let R1 is equal to 5 ohm, R2 is equal to 10 ohm, R3 is equal to 5 ohm, R4 is equal to 10 ohm. Then ratio R1 to R2 means 5 ohm divided by 10 ohm. 5 by 10 is equal to 1 by 2, and R3 by R4 again 5 divided by 10 is equal to 1 by 2. Means here the condition is satisfied. The condition means balance condition. R1 divided by R2 is equal to R3 divided by R4. 1 by 2 is satisfied. It means now I5 current through resistance R5 is 0. This current will become 0. So if no current flows through this branch, If no current flows through this branch, then we may disconnect it. Okay, balance condition is satisfied. So I5 is 0, no current flows through resistance R5 or galvanometer will show no deflection. If you connect here a galvanometer, then galvanometer will show no deflection. So in this case, we may disconnect this resistance. Okay, no current flows through this branch. Now, current through resistance 5 ohm is equal to current through resistance 5 ohm. These two are in series, then here I1 is equal to I2. Same current will flow. And here also I2 and I4 are same. I2 is equal to I4. So these two resistances are in series. We may take 5 ohm plus 5 ohm, 10 ohm. This point is A, this point is B. And along this branch, 10 ohm and 10 ohm in series, then total resistance is 20. A and B are connected to terminals of a cell. Okay. This current is that. So total resistance or equivalent resistance, now we can calculate 10 ohm and 20 ohm in parallel. Then R1 R 10 into 20 divided by R1 plus R2, 10 plus 20. Then equivalent resistance is 200 divided by 30 or 20 by 3 ohm. Or 20 by 3 ohm. Of course, it may be asked what is total current. Find current through different resistors. This may be asked. If you take potential difference, delta V is equal to, let 20 volt. Let 20 volt is potential difference. Then what is total current? Total current is R. Equivalent resistance is 20 by 3. Total resistance is 20 by 3. 20 into 10 divided by 20 plus 10 or 10 into 20 divided by 10 plus 20, 200 by 30, 20 by 3. So total resistance is 20 by 3. Then total current. Total current is potential difference 20 volt divided by total resistance, equivalent resistance 20 by 3. Then this will come 3 ampere. Total current is 3 ampere. Then current through this branch, let I1, current through this branch is I2. I1, I2. Then what will be I1? Potential difference remains same in parallel. So between these 2 points, potential difference A and B is equal to 20 volt. So here also 20 volt and here also 20 volt. Potential difference remains same in parallel. Then what is I1? I1 is equal to potential difference is 20, resistance is 10, B by R, I1 is equal to 2 ampere. And accordingly, if total current is 3 ampere, then obviously I2 will be 1 ampere. Or you may use same rule, 20 divided by 20, B by R, 20 by 20 is 1 ampere. So this is about Balance Wheatstone bridge. This is about Balance Wheatstone bridge. Okay. We'll slightly change the numerical values. Okay. Then we'll have discussion on unbalanced Wheatstone bridge, how to find equivalent resistance, in unbalanced Wheatstone bridge. Okay, in unbalanced Wheatstone bridge. Let's change the values a little. Suppose this is 10 ohm, this is 5 ohm. Just only change. This is only change. Let R1 is 10 ohm, R2 is 5 ohm, R3 is 5 ohm, R4 is 10 ohm, and this resistance R5, let R5 is 10 ohm. The same data, only I have changed these two values. This was 5 ohm, I have taken 10 ohm, and this was 10 ohm, I have taken 5 ohm. This is unbalanced Wheatstone bridge. This is unbalanced Wheatstone bridge. See, we don't know about current till now. Total current is R. Okay. So this resistance R1, this resistance R2. Let's see balance condition. Check our balance condition. R1 by R2, or you may take R2 by R1 also. R1 by R2 is 10 divided by 5 is 2. R1 by R2 is 10 divided by 5, 2. And R3 divided by R4 is 10 divided by 10. 10 ohm, 10, sorry, this is 5 ohm. Sorry, this is 5 ohm. R3 is 5 ohm, R4 is 10 ohm, and this will come 1 by 2. So R1 by R2, ratio of R1 by R2, R1 to R2 is 2, and ratio of R3 to R4 is 1 by 2. Just here, R1 divided by R3, R2 is not equals to R3 by R4. So R1 by R2 is not equals to R3 by R4. So balance condition is not satisfied. Balance condition is not satisfied. This implies potential at B is not equals to potential at C, because there will be flow of current through this branch if this condition is not satisfied. If R1 by R2 is not equals to R3 by R4, then balance condition is not satisfied, and there will be flow of current in this branch, means through this resistance 10. This is unbalanced Wheatstone bridge. Then it is asked, find equivalent resistance between A and C. Find equivalent resistance between A and C. A is connected to positive terminal, means to high potential, and C is connected to negative terminal, means low potential. Okay, so we have to find equivalent resistance between A and C. We have to find equivalent resistance between A and C, and I think this will be easiest method, most easiest method to find equivalent resistance. Okay, any value you may take. Okay, so here of course I have taken symmetric values. Okay, the similar method you may apply for different values of resistors. Okay, let's see. Here balance condition is not satisfied, so there will be flow of current. Let total current from positive terminal, conventional current is I, and this is a junction A. From this junction, total current I is divided into two branches. Through resistance R1, let current is I1. Through resistance R2, let current is I2. Let current is I2. Then I1 will reach at junction B, where I1 may be divided into two branches. I1 reaches at B, this is I1, and it will again divided into two branches, or I2 reaches at B, it may be divided into two branches. Okay, but from which junction current will start flowing? From which junction there will be outgoing current? That will be determined by determining potential at B and D. If potential at B is greater than that of potential at D, then current will flow from B to D, means I1 will get divided. If potential of D is greater than that of potential B, then I2 will get divided into two branches. Since conventional current flows from high potential to low potential, we don't know which one, B or D, is at higher potential, we don't know. Let's argue BB is greater than this. Let's argue. Then I1 is divided into two branches. This is let I5 and this is let I3. Then I3, I2 get combined and this current is I4. Okay. Then now we'll assign the current. See, along 5 ohm means through this 5 ohm current is I2. This is also 5 ohm. See the symmetry. Symmetrically, this is 5 ohm, this is 5 ohm, this is 10 ohm, this is 10 ohm. So if current through this branch means through 5 ohm is I2, then current through this branch must be I2. Must be I2. Okay. If current through this 10 ohm is I1, then current through this 10 ohm is also I1. Okay. 5 ohm, 5 ohm, 10 ohm, 10 ohm. Just see the symmetry of the circuit. See the symmetry of the circuit. Through this 5 ohm, through this 5 ohm, current is I2. So through this 5 ohm, also current is I2. Similar, through this 10 ohm, current is I1. Through this 10 ohm, current is I1. See symmetry of the circuit. So I1, let I1 is divided. Then along this branch I2 and I5 will become I1 minus I2. So this current flows through resistance R5. So this is unbalanced. We'll find equivalent resistance between A and C. The most easiest method, I have divided the current into different branches. Now we'll apply Kirchhoff's law. We'll apply Kirchhoff's law. Okay. Let's consider, we'll apply Kirchhoff's second law. Let's consider the closed loop A, B, B, A. Closed loop A, B, B, A means in clockwise order A, B, B, A, A, B, B, A, A, B, B, A. In clockwise order A, B, B. Okay. Let's apply Kirchhoff's second law. Okay. Total change in voltage in a closed path of circuit. Total change in voltage in a closed path of circuit is 0. A, B, B, A. A, B, B, A is a closed path of circuit. The total change in voltage is 0. See, current flows from high potential to low potential, from high potential to low potential, from high potential to low potential. As per our sign convention, from high potential to low potential, we do take negative sign, and from low potential to high potential, we do take positive sign. Okay? Let's start from A. From A to B means we are moving from high potential to low potential from A to B. Then the equation will be minus I1 R1. Current is I1, resistance is R1. Then from B to D, again from high potential to low potential, minus negative sign. IR, here I is I1 minus I, resistance is R5. Okay? Minus I1 R1 minus current is minus I1 minus I into I1 minus I, negative sign from high to low. Current is I1 minus I2 and resistance is R5 IR. Then from B to A, from B to A, A, B, B, A, B, B, A. From B to A, we are moving from B to A means from low potential to high potential. Then we'll take positive. From high to low negative, from low to high positive. Then current is I2, resistance is R2, then total change in voltage 0. Then now putting the values, I1 minus I1 into R1, R1 is a 10 I1, okay, minus I1 minus I2, let's put it, I1 minus I2, into R5, 10, okay, so this is 10 into I1 minus I2, Okay. And finally from B to A plus I to R2. R2 is 5. 5I2 is equal to 0. 5I2 is equal to 0. Minus I1 into 10 minus current is I1 minus I2 into 10. Then from B to A box I2 into 5. Okay. Now solve it. Minus 10I1 minus 10I1 plus 10I2 plus 5I2, okay, is equal to 0. Is equal to 0. Then minus 20I1 plus 15I2 is equal to 0. Minus 20I1 plus 15I2 is 0. Then 20I1 is equal to 15I2. This is negative. Take to other side. 20I1 is equal to 15I2. Then from this I1 is equal to 15 divided by 20 means 3 by 4. 15 divided by 20. 15 divided by 20 I2 or I1 is equal to 3 divided by 4 I2. Similarly, from here we can get I2 is equal to 20 I1 divided by 15 or I2 is equal to 4 by 3 I1. I2 is equal to 4 by 3 I1 and I1 is equal to 3 by 4 I2. So applying this second law KVL to the closed loop ABDA, we got the relation. Okay. How I1 and I2 are related? Again, see, this total current is divided into two branches or I1. This current is I2, this current is I1. Okay. Then I1 plus I2 is I, or I2 plus I1 is here. I2 I1 here also. I2 I1. Then we may write I is equal to I1 plus I2. Current through R1 is I1 and current through R4 is also I1 and along this branch is I2 and I2 due to symmetry of the circuit. Okay. Then I is equal to I1 plus I2. You see, I is equal to I1 plus I2 or here I1 plus I2 is equal to I. Okay. Now let's find I1. Then I is equal to I1 plus I2. In place of I2, we may write 4 by 3 I1. Then I is equal to, bring I1 common, then this is 3. 3 plus 4, 7. Thus I1 is equal to 3 by 7 I. Similarly, to get I2, again use the same equation. I is equal to I1. In place of I1, we may write 3 by 4 I plus I. In place of I1, we may write 3 by 4 I2 plus I. Then 3 by 4, I is equal to 3 by 4. Bring I1, I2 common. Then this is 4 plus, 4, 3 plus 4. Okay. Then this is 7 by 4 and 7 by 4 I2. This is I2. And I2 is equal to 4 divided by 7 I. Okay. I1 is equal to 3 by 7 I and I2 is equal to 4 by 7 I. Okay. Is it clear? Now a single step. So these are the methods. You can apply it in an exam and get your answer very quickly. To learn it, you should take some time so that I am explaining it. Once go through it and practice one or two numericals, then it will be made easier. Okay. Then we have got the values. We have got these values. Now I erase this. Okay. See. We have got I1 and I2. Okay. See. potential difference between A and C. If potential difference between these two terminals is V, then potential difference between A and C, potential difference between A and C is also V. A is connected to positive terminal and C is connected to negative terminal. If potential difference, terminal potential difference of the cell is V, then potential difference between A and C is also V. Okay. Now let's find potential difference. We know potential difference between A and C is V. Now let's find potential difference between A and C. Let's find the expression. Then from A and C we may choose either this path or may use this path. We may choose the path A, B, C, or we may choose the path A, C, D. Any path you may choose. Any path. Okay. So starting from A means we are taking this path A, B, C. A, B, C. Then potential difference between A and C. From A to D. From A to D. We are moving from A to D. Means from high potential to low potential, positive to negative. Let's take minus. Current is I2. Resistance is R2. Current is I2. Resistance is R2. Then from D to C. From D to C. Again from current flows from high potential to low potential. So this end of resistance R4 is at high potential and this end of resistance R4 is at low potential. So we have taken positive and negative, high and low potential. Okay. Then from D to C, from A to B, minus I to R. From D to C, again from high to low potential, minus current is I1, resistance is R4. Then VA minus VC, I2. I2 is 4 divided by 7, this is minus 4 divided by 7, I into R2, R2 is 5. Then minus I1. I1 is 4 by 3. 4 by 3 I. Oh. I1 is equal to 3 by 7. Okay. I1 is equal to 3 by 7. I1 is equal to 3 by, I2 is equal to 4 by 7. 4 by 7 I. Resistance R2 is 5 ohm minus I1. I1 is 3 by 7 I into resistance is R4. R4 is 10 ohm. Okay. Then V minus V6 is equal to minus I. Bring it common. I and I. Bring it common. Then inside bracket 4 into 5, 20 divided by 7 plus 10 into 3, 30 divided by 7. So total potential difference VA minus VC is minus I into, this is 7, 30 plus 20, 50, 50 by 7. Okay. So this is potential difference between A and C, and this is potential difference between A and C, that is V. Whatever is given. Let. I am doing here, if V is equal to given, if V is given, if V is given, then we can calculate R equivalent. Then if V is given, we can calculate R equivalent. C. VA minus VC is V. Okay. VA minus VC is this much. Then V is equal to, can I erase this? We have already got it. Can I erase it? We have already used the values. Okay. See. VA minus VC is V. Potential difference between the terminals VA minus VC is V. Also VA minus VC is minus I into 50 by 7 into 50 by 7. Okay. Then V by I is equal to minus 50 by 7. See, V is total potential difference and I is total current. Then total potential difference divided by total current is total resistance or equivalent resistance 50 by 7. But resistance can never be negative. Resistance is a positive quantity and scalar quantity. So we may write resistance is 50 divided by 7 ohm. 50 by 7 ohm. So if that equivalent resistance is potential difference is mentioned, then we can calculate I, total current, and of course we know how to get I1 and I2. Okay, by current division method we know it all. Okay. So this is about unbalanced Wheatstone bridge, and I think this lecture will be helpful for you. Thanks, my children. Thanks.